Nigeria, state governments and various humanitarian organizations have made individual contributions to help the recovery effort in affected areas since the years of insurgency started in the northeast. Now, however, relevant stakeholders are converging on Damaturu, the Yobe state capital, to force a strategy for coordinating their efforts into a more effective whole for post-conflict reconstruction of war-ravaged areas.
Building a city takes planning and effort, yet it's easier to destroy than to rebuild. Destruction is what the Northeast has faced at the hands of insurgents for several years. In Damaturu, the Yobe state capital, Governor Ibrahim Gaidam is at the head of this meeting, comprising members of the Victim Support Fund, VSF, the Presidential Committee on Northeast Initiatives, PCNI, and other development partners. The aim is to make a coordinated effort from their individual humanitarian projects for better results in rebuilding the state.
Now that the capability of the Boko Haram as a fighting force has been seriously degraded, the great task of resettlement, rehabilitation and reconstruction has now assumed the center stage.
The Deputy State Governor, who doubles as the chairman of the Resettlement and Rehabilitation Committee for the IDPs, lets participants in on the scope of work expected to be covered.
Provision of immediate interventions in the form of restoration of social amenities like water supply, health and sanitation facilities.
For the PCNI team, there must first be a conducive environment for work to go on unhindered.
So that we have rebuilt communities that are meaningful, sustainable, and are better than what was destroyed in the past.
Some development partners recognize that even though more must be done, a measure of progress has been made.
Out of the estimated 2.1 million internally displaced persons in Nigeria, only about 10% of that population lives in former residential camps. The commendation and gratitude goes to the host communities themselves.
VSF today is providing all the educational materials, books, and everything that they require.
They all agree that recovery may take time and scarce resources, but are determined to face the task at hand.
The recovery process will require strengthening of our policies and programs and project implementation. It would also require efficient and effective utilization of resources which are scarce.
Papers will be presented in the course of this retreat, and at the end of it all, a communique representing the unified view on how best to reconstruct facilities and rehabilitate returning IDPs is expected.
The former president for the Movement for the Survival of Ogoni People, Ledum Mite, has called on state governments in the country to exercise prudence in the execution of projects. He was speaking during an inspection tour with the governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, in Port Harcourt, the state capital. Meanwhile, the governor has called on the youths and communities around Bill and Bonny Jetty to refrain from acts capable of stopping the progress of work at the jetty.
Bile Bonny Waterfront Jetty is a beehive of activities as contractors continue ongoing construction work at the jetty. The jetty, which is to serve as a connection for the riverine communities of Bonny Island, Bile and Nembe in neighboring Bayelsa State, was conceived by the Rivers State government to provide safe and secure marine transport. And the governor is here to check the level of work done. And another day, the governor is on Abacha Road in the heart of the government reservation area in the state capital to see another project currently under reconstruction. The governor is in company of a former president of the Movement for the Survival of Ogoni People, Ledum Mite, who says there should be a balance between the provision of infrastructure and the needs of the people.
Some people embark on structures that are just elephants, and this is down to earth. It goes to the how exactly what the ordinary people want to see, and that's the lesson that should be there. So that the challenge that people should look at is how do you balance the needs of people with whatever infrastructure you provide. Some infrastructure has very little relevance to the actual needs of the ordinary people. I mean, when you go and build maybe a classroom that we require AC for people to enjoy the place, how does that relate to our environment?
The popular Abacha Road is a link road between Ajib Junction and Government Reservation area. Emmanuel Ire, Channels Television News.
The Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello has warned those in possession of firearms and ammunition in the Central Senatorial District of the state to surrender them or face the full wrath of the law. Governor Bello gave the warning in Okene during a meeting to discuss the security challenges in the area.
The venue of the town hall meeting was filled to capacity. Top government functionaries, elder statesmen, traditional rulers, members of the National Assembly and youths from the Central Senatorial District are all in attendance. The insecurity challenges that have bedeviled the Central Senatorial District, which is made up of 5 local government areas, is top on the agenda.
Our administration has taken it upon ourselves to take security as #1 priority. It is often said that security is not in the hand of government or the security agents alone. Security is indeed a business of all of us. We are now bringing security back to the grassroots.
Some of the elders at the meeting bear their minds on the situation.
This is an issue that has brought disgrace onto the land just because a few miscreants decided to visit this area with this act of criminality. And I think it is the best thing that has happened, especially #1, that the governor has now begun to make attempts at wiping them out.
Find what has caused the problem, how they should go by to suppress the problem and to avoid future occurrence.
Recently, Governor Bello ordered the demolition of over 15 buildings in Okene identified as kidnappers' den as part of efforts to rid the state of miscreants.
Still to come on Network Africa. Water reserve in Kenya's north helps residents mitigate an ongoing drought. Stay with us for details.